Are the thicker 30 millimeter fans better than the usual 25 millimeter fans? So I was curious about that, and I went ahead and I bought 6 brand new RX-140 Max fans from Corsair. And these fans are about 20% thicker than what you would normally get. And in theory, with the larger fan blades, you should be able to push more static air through your AIO or even through your case. In my case, I did both my AIO and my front case panels, fan panel. So I did run into an issue with it, and I'll let you know later in the video along with the results. But I have a comparison here. So I got one right here that is the 30 millimeter and one that is the 25. And as you can see, as stated before, if I can line them up just right, one is about 20% thicker right there. And you're supposed to be able to push more air through, right? So I wanted to know, is it overhyped? Does it really do a big performance improvement? So I went ahead and pulled the trigger. Now, the problem that I found out with this was they are about $110 for the starter kit. This right here came with 2 fans, all the wires you can get for IQ, and it came with one of the little hub things, right? The IQ hub. So the issue that I had with it was out of the 6 fans, only 3 of them worked. And at first I thought it was IQ being IQ and just not working, right? So I did the repair thing. I went ahead, and when that didn't work, I deinstalled the whole program, reinstalled it, and then I ran into more issues where 3 of the fans they would spin, but I couldn't control them because they weren't recognized, right, by IQ. And then there was no RGB on them. Now, I'm not a big RGB fan. I can care less either way with it, but when you pay for a product that doesn't have lights on there, or that's supposed to have lights and doesn't, and it doesn't even get recognized by the software it's designed for. Yeah, so after lots of troubleshooting, I went ahead and I just moved all my working fans to the AIO, and then I went ahead and replaced my other fans, back to my other fans, the 140 by 25 millimeter fans as my front panel fans. And make sure though, when you buy a product that's as thick as the 30 millimeter fans, especially if you're in a mid-tower type case, you got to make sure everything fits, right? Because these are thicker, so you got to make sure you got the clearance with your motherboard and just other things that you may have in there. I fortunately do have a full tower because I love full towers. The whole small form factor, and even in mid tower, I prefer larger cases. So I went ahead and got that. So I didn't have that issue with spacing. But I went ahead and I had to do an RMA on it, and with the chatbot, and I went through the chatbot's troubleshooting. Even though I'd been doing PC building for over 25 years, I still followed what it said because you never know, you might learn something new or a new technique, but pretty much it told me to do everything I already did. So I got an RMA through Corsair and proof of purchase, took pictures of the serial numbers of the fans that don't work, and they're going to send me some fresh fans, right? So great. But with my working fans, as you can see here, I started out on idle at 43 degrees Celsius. That's what I normally sat at with my thinner fans. And then after a little bit of configuring and stuff like that, I was able to get 41 degrees Celsius at idle. And then when I played Crimson Desert, I was able to, what I normally get right around 60 degrees at my CPU, and knocked it down to about 57, sometimes 58. It kind of hovered between that depending on what I was doing in the game. So the performance on the fans is about, on average, 2 to 3 degrees. Sometimes it did 4, but I think that was more because of my ambient room temperature, because that does matter. And so at about $110 per box for 2 fans, and I think right around 50 to 55 for 1 fan. If you already have the 140 millimeter fans at the 25 millimeter thickness, it's not really worth the buy, in my opinion. You can get just as good performance out of those with the thinner fans as you can the thicker ones. Now, this is with Corsair. I can't speak for the other fans, like Noctua, Antec, Fantech, and everyone else who makes fans, Lee & Lee. But at least for Corsair's sake, I don't think there's much of an improvement. Not with my current fan curves and what I was doing. Now, does it push more air? Yes, it does. It does what it says, but I don't think that if you already have those fans, it's really worth it. Now, if you're going on a fresh build and you start out with the thicker fans, then yeah, sure, you can get it. It works then. But yeah, so just if you're trying to do an upgrade, maybe if you upgrade from a 120 to 140, depending on what kind of upgrade you're trying to do, that might be worth it too. But as far as I can tell, it's not really worth that an upgrade at all. So unless your fans die and you replace it with that, then. But I spent altogether, because it did sit on my shelf for quite a while before I decided to do this review, and I wanted to do ample testing. But spending what upset me about this was when you buy 6 fans and only 50% of them worked, right? So I do love Corsair. I've been using Corsair from the 90s when they started doing more gaming stuff in 2010 and on. I think they make excellent RAM, but I was kind of disappointed in this. And I hope that it was just a fluke that I received a bad batch. But I want to say between the problems I had with IQ and the videos I had to make on how to help fix and repair IQ, and then the fan issue that I have, I can't really recommend these fans. I mean, I don't know. Unless Corsair wants to send me more fans to keep testing, and then I can give another honest review. As much as I love them, I can't recommend this fan. Really. Not if you already have fans that work just fine. So, but that's my product review, guys, and I appreciate you tolerating this. Please like and subscribe, and leave me some comments down below if there's anything maybe I should try to test, or if there's any improvements on IQ that you want me to post and make videos on. But let me know if you had any issues with the same issues that I got. All right, guys. I'll talk to y'all later.